Thanks for watching this tutorial. This is my version of Pat Ehler's of the Fly Fishers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin's Reaper Fly. I saw this fly in the Umpqua catalog and just had to tie it. There were no instructions at the time. I played around with it, and it wasn't until I saw the other video online that I really figured out how to tie it through trial and error. This is what I use now. It's one of my largest fish producing flies, specifically largemouth bass. You can tie it in brown coppers for crayfish patterns, purples, blues, pinks. The variety is almost endless depending on the materials available. Pat developed this as his take on a pig and jig lure. So this is more of a fluor than a fly. If it's tied properly, you get that nice umbrella look to it. Super easy to make, very durable. This is a fish producing fly. What we need to tie it, first off, is a hook. This is going to be a Matsuo America size 1 X wide gap worm hook. Next are going to be lead eyes. I'm going to use painted lead eyes for this one. I just don't have any in a bag. And then I'm going to tie in an ultra suede tail. These just happen to be from William, who lives down the street. Do not call these Reaper tails. He calls them leech tails. If you call them Reaper tails, you're going to make that man very upset. You can buy Reaper tails through your Hairline Dubbin Fly Shop if they carry their products, or you can go to Eastern Trophies. Well, he sells these on there. You can go to Pat Cohen's website, and then you can have the whole debate about ultra suede and who came up with it and all that fun stuff. Next, we're going to tie in some UV dyed polar chenille. Neat thing about this, you hit it with UV light, super glowy. Don't know if the fish see it like that. And then we're going to finish it off with hot tip silly legs from Orvis. Whatever color your tail, legs, and chenille are is what makes the fly. I'm going to tie with 210 denier on my modified bobbin. It's a right bobbin. It's awesome. Regal Vise. I put my hook in. It doesn't go anywhere. It was that easy. There's no dials. There's no knobs. I'm going to start my thread right behind this gap. I'm going to pick up my scissors. I'm not going to put them down. These are the pupil eyes I'm using. Start wrapping that in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tension. Helicopter. In slow motion so you can see it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Helicopter is just above the hook there. Gonna wrap back until I get just to the point. So I'm right lined up with that hook point. I'm gonna take my ultra suede tail. Gonna tie it in. If you want, you can absolutely use super glue on the tail and the dumbbell eyes. If you tie with enough tension and strong enough thread, it should not go anywhere. I'm going to take my UV polar chenille. And when you're tying this in, just make sure that as you're pommering it or wrapping it over, each time you wrap, you want to advance it in front of your previous wrap and not cover up these chenille fibers that are sticking out. The easiest way to do that when you're done is just to go through with the coarse edge of a piece of Velcro, and those little hooks will pull out any little fibers. Now, if you've got the Regal rotary, this might be a little easier. I used to tie this with chenille or Estaz underneath this polar chenille, give it more bulk, but it was just an extra step, and it ended up costing me a little bit more per fly. I'm going to go once over the eye. 1, 2, 3, snip. And now that alone is going to catch you a fish. It's pretty cool looking, right? Well, let's add that skirt. We're going to take one skirt. What I'm going to do is just dangle it, cut it in half. Now, if I was fishing the snakehead tournament for myself, I probably would tie in this whole piece. Because I'm tying these commercially for clients and it works just as well, I'm going to split this. And because it's a blacktail and chartreuse body, these line up almost perfect. I'm going to put this here. 1, 2, 3. Rotate. Take the other half of the skirt. Right in front of the eyes. 1, 2, 3. Your fly is now done. If you've got this little piece, you can just fold it back. I'm going to do a couple wraps behind the eye. Now I'm going to half hitch. If you didn't listen to the podcast episode with Pat Ehlers, you're going to want to do that. It goes into where and how and when and why he developed the patterns he does. Slow motion. I'm going to just take my finger against the thread and twist like I'm giving a wet willy. Put my index finger up against the fly, slide that loop over, and pull. If you do that strong enough, you're not going to need super glue. This fly will last. Hold it up, and there you have it. My take on the Pat Ehlers Reaper fly. It's a fish-producing fly. I guarantee it. If you don't want to tie them yourself, you can buy them from me. Any questions? You know where to find me online.